Like I said, if I'm going to talk to you, bro, I'm going to tell you this, boom, done, right? Women are like, when a woman speaks to you, she'd tell you about her feelings first. All right, so I was on my period, right? So you already know, da 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 da. And it's like, it's a whole thing. And I'm just like, men generally don't have time for that type of conversation.
Let's get one thing straight. Being emotional and being emotionally intelligent are completely different things. And women are emotional, but they're not emotionally intelligent by being emotional about everything and letting their emotions control their lives. Most of us are aware that women are more emotional than men and place a higher priority on feelings, but they aren't even aware of why they feel the way they do. The next day or hour, they're likely to even confuse the feeling they had. It's like us saying a child is more emotionally intelligent because they throw temper tantrums. Emotional intelligence, or the emotional quotient, EQ, is female code for, I'm not going to use my words and still expect you to understand me and validate my feelings, especially the ones I haven't expressed. This is a generations-old issue. They just labeled it something new to maintain moral superiority. There's no such thing as emotional intelligence. It's an oxymoron. Emotional and intelligence can't go together. It's as nonsensical as traditionalism and feminism living under the same roof in a romantic relationship. One is going to drown out and overpower the other. You can't be intelligent while simultaneously being up in your emotions, because intelligence factors in logic and emotion push out logical thinking altogether. Women believe they're emotionally intelligent and amazing communicators, while wanting you to telepathically read their minds to figure out their wants and needs without them opening their mouths, but can never do the same for men. Maybe that's why women like men that don't tolerate their BS. They know they don't make sense, but they wait and see what they can get away with babbling nonsense. If she tricks you, it strokes her ego, and she thinks less of you because you fell for her lies. If she doesn't trick you, then you must be a smart man worth having. There is a difference between thinking emotionally to acting emotionally. Women can only act emotionally and have no idea how to think emotionally, since they only act on what the emotion is feeling than thinking. I can tell you this, since from all the EI tests I have done have scored of 95 on the different tests. I'm good at reading people, and have a pretty good idea of what they are thinking when interacting with them on an empathic level. When talking with women, their emotions are just bunching around their heads, not knowing how to control or focus on them. So they start to act on feeling not knowing what to do with what's bunching around in that moment. They have a pea brain, since they can't analyze their emotion, and can only act on them. If you think about it, women interpret their anxiety as the emotional work they do to maintain relationships. They want credit for this anxiety, and insist that men change their behavior in response to their ever-increasing anxiety in the pursuit of status and a place in their community. I've said this for years. It's always said women mature faster than men, but just a casual glance at the magazines and tabloids in the checkout lane at grocery stores shows this isn't the case. Emotional maturity means you are able to control emotions, which means you're less likely to cry at a movie, less likely to fall for manipulative messages, and less likely to blindly follow the herd. One edition of Woman's Hour on BBC Radio 4 had strong, empowered women talking about how great they were, how much better than men, and how they were logical and mature compared to their male peers. Then someone mentioned that she was having a chocolate fountain at their wedding, and they all went totally gaga and instantly turned into little girls. We know that actual logic will always trump emotional logic. The key is, don't let them change the subject. Don't let them spiral off into arguments B, C, and D. No. You said I didn't listen to you, but I did listen. You said it was fine. Now I'd like an apology for being attacked for something I didn't do. They will be pissed at you no matter what. Might as well win the argument, so you are not left holding the blame at the end of the day for something you didn't do. Men are aware of the nature of women and no longer desire to play that game. They even overcame their innate impulses and stopped attributing their happiness and worth to the women they chose to date. Instead, they began to rely on their life's mission, which is a fatal blow to the woman who relies on these men to approach her in clubs so she may receive free drinks, extravagant dinners, and clothes, and write about it all on social media. Women no longer have control over men like they did in the past. Women would be pursuing men, while men would be too preoccupied with their objectives to give a damn if these men had inspired even more men. Remember that women's attractiveness and appeal are limited, and the instant she reached their limit, they will leave the dating scene. The value of a man, on the other hand, will increase if he stays unmarried since he has nothing to lose. She will be in a lot of trouble if she doesn't find a boyfriend right away. She has no other choices if the man doesn't show any interest in her. Throughout history, the genes of women who were more effective in influencing men have been passed on to the next generations. Women hate MGTOW because it goes against what they believe, and they are furious with us since we took what they said literally, rather than using it as a test to put them in their appropriate place. Males today can be divided into two categories. The first group is the weak men who indulge the whims of women. The second category consists of blue pills, who want to please women in order to have close relationships with them and discover genuine love. They respect the wishes of women. Then there are the men who follow their own path and take seriously women's assertions that they don't require men. If this is the case, they contend, then enjoying intimacy and taking all of the risks are no longer adequate justifications for a man to stay in a relationship. Men used to die in conflict with less pain and suffering, at least in the past. Nowadays, a man is in a much worse predicament than a man who perishes in battle if he gets divorced and loses his home, kids, wife, and sense of purpose, along with respect and self-esteem. Women merely want us to fall for the trap and engage in a rigged game of one-sided love that really sides with them. Women gain power by portraying weakness because it motivates males to step up, get involved, and take care of them. Males will, however, go their own way and look for other reasons for existing in addition to defending women as women assert their power more and more. If women don't need our protection, why are we still around? While women want men to stick by their sides, look after them, and listen to their problems, they also want men to think they are independent of them. Men who prefer to act independently tend to stay away from women and refrain from playing the game. Instead, we decide to stay in the grubby liberal cities. Emotional intelligence in women is quite rare because it's not in their psyche to suppress their emotions. They let their emotions run and ruin their lives and relationships. Women need to understand there are highs and lows in any relationship, no matter how great or bad it is. I always tell my wife Brad and Angelina couldn't make it work, they had it all. Fame, money, and power, and still they couldn't make it last. The best-looking actors at the time. Society tells that women are better, at least in emotions. That's a complete lie. I noticed my ex-GF always struggled with her emotions like a little child, knowing she is an adult 20 years old. That makes sense now. That's why I won't marry anyone in this modern age, because it's an infinite fight for a relationship, a fight with her emotions. I want adult women, not adult children. Don't want to know what caused society to shift in this direction, but I am out of it. The hookup culture is the only way in this world. I see no perspective in families or relationships. I've said this before, and I'll reiterate my point. Men operate on logic. It is used to navigate and tame the world. Women operate on emotions. It is used to connect to the world and each other, and the two shall never meet. Where one is in control, the other is not. Both these traits have their positive and negative sides. Logic can be used to build or destroy, and the same is true of emotions. Modern-day women use their emotions to destroy. They are not emotionally intelligent. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.